This video is just gonna be it's gonna be a quick video. I think it's gonna be quick, but it's just gonna have a main theme, and the theme is gonna be persistence. Um, the first thing is first. Obviously, you have to be watching. The devil is, cause I mean, well, not watching, but the devil is watching you, and he's looking to see if he could. Oh, he's watching you to sin, and to see if you could give him a reason to give him some sort of flesh or leniency. But this is the whole point of the video. The whole point of this video was to bring to your awareness that when you engage in spiritual warfare, something about Christians is and binding and loosing is that these individuals eventually they end up getting lazy, and they're not as persistent as they should be. Whereas when they start finally seeing results, they stop there, and they don't bother picking it up. And this is also another tactic of the devil. And the devil himself, what is that called? The devil himself basically tries to make you forget about binding and loosing because it's doing so much damage to his kingdom, and it's a threat to him essentially. So he'll get you to actually be delivered, and to actually be delivered. Well, not him. He lets you be delivered, but you'll be delivered. But then slowly you'll end up forgetting about binding and loosening, and you won't be as persistent as you were. And this is tactically part of the kingdom of darkness to an attempt to stop you from being a threat to him. So it's absolutely important that you will continue and in this persistence and watching and removing every evil unclean thing that is on you. And this is going to be this is actually pretty serious, you know. If you do not continue being persistent and continuing being persistent, more than likely you're probably going to end up dying. And unfortunately, this is not what is that called? I'm not saying this just because I need you to always be persistent, but eventually you'll end up dying because more down the line you end up you end up letting the devil take territory over your body. So obviously, when I say this, I mean that your back doesn't really isn't as strong as it used to be. Your legs are hurting more. You're getting more tired. This is all from the kingdom of darkness through subtle compromises that you slowly but surely are starting to bow down to the evil spirit that is even begun doing this wicked work on you until finally you're all old and decrepit and you're just a waste, you know. And people look at you and they're just like, dang. You know, obviously people look and they're like, this person's getting a little older. But this is something that's absolutely vital and absolutely necessary for your own health and overall spiritual growth. That you must be persistent and keep being persistent and even being persistent and being persistent, because you're most likely gonna die. And obviously, this obviously shows you that this isn't a game. Many individuals like to you know, not take their walk as serious as they should, or they feel like, you know, God is gonna do everything for you, or God is gonna do this and that. But binding and loosing solves a majority, well, not a majority of the problems. I would say probably all problems, if not all, but most problems. Most of the issues that individuals have is they themselves. Where individuals begin getting tempted by the enemy, that's the temptation leads. Once it's actually done, the temptation leads to sin, and sin leads to you getting rebuked, and you getting rebuked obviously it is not good. It leads to problems of health and problems of that nature. So this is why it's absolutely vital that you actually are firstly cutting the head off the snake, so to speak, by not being enticed by your desires and getting rid of all these temptations that are in your heart, as well as the things that are going to cause you to be rebuked in your heart. by being persistent, obviously by binding and loosing, binding the evil spirits that are in your heart that are going to cause you to be rebuked, and loosing the good spirits inside of you. That way, that way you're actually fully delivered from this ailment. Don't believe the lies of the devil that you could be fully delivered. If you remember clearly, when Christ was walking on the face of this earth, he fully delivered these individuals, and everything else, these devils are going to try to make it seem like you can't fully deliver an individual, and they'll say whatever just so this individual doesn't, just so these individuals just stick around in their life, because they feel in their head, these demons, they feel in their head that they could work with these types of things if you just let them in your home. And this couldn't be any further from the truth, which is absolutely important that you get rid of the devils, whether you think that these devils are doing anything or whether you don't think that they're doing anything. And it's absolutely important that you get rid of any and all unclean meats that are actually well, not unclean meats, but any unclean devils that are actually on you. Because the compromises that it leads to. And unfortunately, if you actually saw how nasty and how dirty all these devils were and these demons were, you wouldn't even ever let one of those nasty things get on you. And this is obviously error in the way of thinking. This is obviously error in a person's way of thinking, that their own logic is ultimately what damns this individual because of the things that they actually deem appropriate or even or correct, and many individuals, just through their own way of thinking, they don't let go, they don't bother having Christ or give them a new way of thinking and a new ideology, and these individuals end up perishing and going into perdition through this way of thinking, even though these individuals are Christians. And although these individuals are Christians, through their own ideologies, they end up going straight into perdition, and they do not let Christ lead them, so to speak. And this isn't the same old the Christ let Christ lead them to salvation type stuff. This is a genuine problem, and not even just in Christians, but in everyone else on the face of this earth, that an individual must be doing that and having a new way of thinking, and not be limited by their own logic and their own reasonings, because that's ultimately what happens to a lot of individuals on the face of this earth. They're very not stupid, but they're very simple-minded, and these individuals are simple-minded in their way of thinking, and they don't actually bother changing or doing anything of the sort. And ultimately, through their own logic and their reasoning, they end up getting not cursed by God. Well, yeah, cursed by God, but they end up getting they end up heading straight to perdition through their own logic, and unfortunately, and in sin, and they get entangled in sin, and they can't figure out why this is happening to them, and what's wrong with them, and why these bad things happen to good Christians. And ultimately, it ends up with the Christians' overall ignorance on sin and how holy God is. If an individual actually understood the gravity of the situation, the severity of sin, these individuals wouldn't even bother, and what sin is, because many individuals are still ignorant about what certain sins are. And this is all written in the law of Moses, that whatever you do not do that's written in the law of Moses makes it sin, just like it was a sin for Eve to take a bite of the fruit. That was disobedience. It wasn't a direct commandment. It was a direct commandment, but it wasn't like a direct commandment from a law or anything. It was just a direct commandment from the Word of God, and that was it, or from the mouth of God. And it was just a direct command. And obviously, this is what led to actual sin being introduced into all of humanity through this one act of disobedience. And through this act of disobedience, that's how sin entered into the body, and that's essentially what ended up happening. And Unfortunately, many individuals make a lot of excuses. They give a lot of reasons as to why they are the way that they are, and some of it just stems with them not even wanting to change. And the other part of these individuals are just ignorant to how simple they are, and how unintelligent they or how irrational their way of thinking is. And unfortunately, this is about as sad as it gets. And these individuals will never. Some of these individuals will never grow out of that way of thinking just because it makes sense to them. Which is important why you should pray and always be praying consistently to God. You should actually get out of this way of thinking, because this way of thinking is what leads to compromise, and compromise leads to more and more devils, until finally, the latter end is worse than it was in the beginning, and this individual is worse than they were in the beginning, which is all technically and strategically the work of the devil. Which I'm telling you that you must be persistent, and you must continue in being persistent to get rid of all the things that you don't notice, and essentially just watching. And when I say watching, is just watching the devils, and just being aware of your surroundings, and then getting rid of all the nastiness, and just getting rid of the things that you don't notice on yourself that you have to get rid of. Whether you think that I just can't change, or I just can't like that, this is just part of who I am, this is just how my skin is, or how whatever. Obviously what isn't good is demonic, and what is good is all from God. So don't be deceived. The devils can definitely duplicate the goodness of God, which is why it's important for you to actually be praying to actually receive the good things from God and the good spirits of God. In heaven, there's obviously you get new body parts and new things. So if you feel like you yourself are being failed, or whatever is failing you while you're walking on this earth, you just ask for a new body part, and it'll be given to you in faith. But this is a leap of faith on your end that you must jump and actually take the leap of faith. These individuals are going to try to attempt to stop you short by trying to get inside of your head and not letting you actually take the leap of faith. Like, what if this doesn't happen, and what if that doesn't happen? What if I don't get the deliverance that I wanted? And obviously these are all little subtle attempts to not get you to finally jump, which I'm telling you to just blow through that and just take the leap of faith anyway, which is a leap of faith. This is self-explanatory. Even the name that it is, that you have to take the leap of faith. Don't let these individuals steal your healing or your blessing or your deliverance just because of how stupid they are. You must be thinking ahead, and you must be prudent that eventually you're going to finally take that leap of faith. And when you finally do take that leap of faith, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, why didn't I just take the leap of faith to begin with? I would have been done over with it, and none of this stuff would have even been. I wouldn't have had to suffer as long as I suffered for it. And unfortunately, this is realistically that simple. Many individuals don't really feel like it's that simple, but it's all based. And even Christ himself, even when he was walking on the face of the earth, he wouldn't heal individuals because of their faith and they were unbelieving. And it still ties in with that. Although Christ does know how to heal people, and he knows how to help individuals get healed in a way that they actually will receive the healing. I'm not sure if it's also respectful to not believe a holy God that he will fulfill his end of the promise, just like with Sarah and with Israel itself, before Israel, the nation Israel was even born. And unfortunately, if I recall, people, please be respectful when you think about these individuals, the elders that are actually written in the scriptures. Some of you will come a time. There will come a time where you actually will be face to face with them and talk with them. And obviously, they hear these types of words and these types of things, and these types of memes that you say about them. So please keep that in mind, so that you actually are not disrespectful, neither are respecting them, but you're actually respecting them according to the honor and highly esteemed they are in the scriptures, because nobody on the face of this earth is as highly esteemed as the individuals and the elders that are actually written in the scriptures. That's also another lie that's twisted from the devil. But before I get off topic, when Sarah was about to conceive, I believe, and God made the promise. I believe God tried to. No, God didn't try to, but essentially, Mother Sarah, she did fail the test, and when she failed the test, God said, now you're going to have to wait an extra 10 years. So obviously these are not like things for an individual to just sit here and doubt the word of God, or sit here and doubt the promises of God, and to put your foot down and say, you know what, this is not even going to happen, because God hears these types of things. So it's absolutely important for you to take the leap of faith, or wait longer. And obviously when Sarah left, the angels obviously heard what Sarah said. Heard Sarah laughing about. I believe, why did she laugh? Because they said that she was going to be pregnant. I'm not too sure. I can't really remember. But she laughed. But the angels, they told her, they're like, you laughed, and she said no. Obviously these angels, they heard what she said, that she laughed, and so they said, your first, because you laughed, your first child's name is going to be Isaac. And that's, this is, it happened, and it ended up happening. But obviously these are conscious decisions that you must and you must be aware of the consequences of your doubt. Just like the father of John the Baptist, he doubt. Well, it's not funny, but it's kind of, from looking back, it's like, man, why didn't we just believe? But obviously all this stuff came to pass. But John the Baptist, even when Gabriel the archangel came to him and told him that he was going to have a son, and you were to call him John, obviously I don't believe he knew, he wanted a sign, and or something along those lines, and Gabriel took that offensively, and he said, this is Gabriel, and he told him that this is Gabriel who sees the face of God, who is in the throne of God, something along those lines. You need to read that, or go read that. Matter of fact, everything that I mentioned is that because you doubted, you won't be able to speak, and obviously he was mute until the birth of John the Baptist, and none of this is funny, but this is actually all serious. So obviously, when you actually see these things and you look back, you see the severity of the situation and the consequences that these individuals had to deal with because of their bad decisions, and they didn't bother waiting until it passed over them, and so they could actually fully believe, even though they were being tested. They didn't fear the Lord, essentially, and when they didn't fear the Lord, they were cursed. And unfortunately, this is about as sad as it gets. And obviously, this is a conscious decision on your part to just take the leap of faith and jump, essentially. And that's basically it about that. But the whole point of this whole video was for you to be persistent, because if you are not persistent, it will lead you into perdition, which is these sort of compromises do not fly with Jesus Christ. And although God is gracious and merciful, grace is not a license for you to sin, which is why I'm telling you not to take these compromises into your not to let these compromises in your life, because obviously God will definitely increase the graces to you, but grace is never a license to sin. Although God does not want anybody to perish, He will definitely this is just something that's conscious that you should be aware of, and you're even aware of it to an extent. Obviously, you must be praying about these types of things, but you must be persistent and continue in being persistent, because of how basic how simple it is. Well, not how simple, but how you could be 10 years from now and completely be in a worse position and a terrible position that you were just because you were not being persistent and you were lazy. And obviously, this has to do with spiritual growth and actual health. Read the Proverbs, read the Wisdom, read Ecclesiastes. When you read these things things will definitely cleanse your heart and cleanse you from all unrighteousness and filth and rebukes and dirt that is on you as you fear the Lord and you actually actually walk in how God wants you to walk in. There's no other route. There's no other way. You must do it God's way, or face the consequences of the situation. You must be persistent in fighting the devil. Although the devil, I already know how many individuals have this way of thinking about the devil, that he's some great God or he's some individual who's just what is it called? He's unbeatable. Essentially, don't believe it. It's a lie. God is testing you, so you actually are actually put your foot and you're actually firm in the faith of God, who God is. That God is greater. That God is greater than the devil. And obviously, it's a test for you not to believe the lies of the devil and you actually believe God is who God says He is. You're not supposed to be failing this test. This is a test that is mandatory that you pass. There's absolutely no way around it. It's absolutely mandatory that you pass this test because the devil was cast out of heaven like lightning. So please bear that in mind. Keep that in your head. The devil is actually pretty beatable, people. If you take a step back and you look at all the individuals who actually beat the devil and who actually conquer the devil, or just Jesus Christ, obviously this shows the enemy is not as big or as great as he may portray himself to be. Which obviously, when an individual is already on the face of this earth, they have other individuals who teach them this way of thinking. That individuals who usually think themselves as highly as the devil does, they usually end up, being all wasted and all nasty and garbage. And something usually ends up happening to these individuals. And in the same way, this is a reminder that you actually should be thinking about the devil in that way, that he is in no way above the lie, and in no way is he above anything else. He is not God. He is not unbeatable. He's beatable. Do not be intimidated by him at all. If you are intimidated by him, just don't. It's a sin. You could die. And I believe that's it. Don't be intimidated at all by the kingdom of darkness, or you'll die. Don't be intimidated at all by anything or the enemy or any unknown thing or any darkness or secret wisdom, supposedly, or secret knowledge. You'll die. Don't be intimidated of anything. Just keep your faith in God. Keep your firm faith in God, and don't waver and don't do anything of that sort. Read the Psalms. Read Psalm 1, and completely put your trust in God. Do not lean on your own understanding. And this stuff is pretty simple, though. As you actually practice these things, it eventually just gets easier until it gets integrated into your being. And this is just common sense, and it's just natural to you. But unfortunately, many people do not take the first leap, and they stay stuck in this way of thinking. And unfortunately, it's about as sad as it gets. These individuals will never get out of that, and they will never. Some of these individuals will never get out of it unless they finally jump, and some of these individuals will never jump, and they'll stay there, and there they'll die. And then the individuals who actually have partaken in this eventually just end up getting lazy. And when these individuals get lazy, they sit down, and eventually they sit down to rest, and they die. And unfortunately, this is about as sad as it gets. It's all due to human nature, or not human nature, but a human way of thinking that ultimately is what kills them. Their own stupidity is what eventually kills an individual, and their own fear and their own. It's a lot. When you step back, you actually see what actually ends up killing individuals. And individuals are they're limited by their own understanding. That's why an individual must rely on God and rely on His understanding, and not to lean on their own, but to lean on His, and to just trust God with all their hearts. This is not a game, people. I know I say that often, but unfortunately I have to say it often. So I'll repeat that again. Unfortunately for you and other individuals, I have to say it often that this is not a game, and this is all too serious. There is an all-out war going on right now. Why you laugh and why you talk to individuals and why you do this and that. There is an all-out war happening that is about the extinction of God's people and God's human and those that are created in His image. It's about a genocide. This is mass genocide of the human population, conceived of by the devil through his own his great master plan to take as many souls with him to hell by tempting them with anger and tempting them, and through this anger, he has a leverage in these individuals' lives, and tempting them through the knowledge of the world, and by molding them essentially to actually be to accept all his lies and not to accept the truth of the Word of God. This is the plan of the devil. This is the plan of the enemy. This is his great plan and his master plan to take as many souls with them to the lake of fire. That through their own subtlety and through their own knowledge, he's essentially going to deceive these individuals to burn with him. And unfortunately, this is a conspiracy, and it's a plan of the devil to tempt them to die. And this is all for the genocide. This is all genocide, and this is all genocide for the devils. I mean, for the devils, for humans. When you take a step back and you can see in individuals, even in history, throughout history, how they've done these heinous acts and these acts of genocide. It is not something new, and you should let that teach you that in fact that there is a mass genocide going on, perpetrated by the devil himself to attempt to try to take as many souls with him to the lake of fire, to an attempt to dumb them down enough so they could actually burn with him. And that's about as sad as it gets, and that's unfortunately about as unfortunate as it gets. This has been the plan of the devil. It's not something new. It's not a great plan. It's not an intelligent plan either. But it is a plan. Nevertheless, if you are dumber than this plan, and if you are dumber than this plan, you will definitely die with the devil. But if you are not, and you actually are aware of this plan, and you actually are intelligent enough, then you actually go to God and you actually believe all of His promises to be true, which is what this is about. It is all about God. It is never about you. If you let the grass teach you in itself, you will see how grass gets cut, even though it's never sinned. And if you ever gotten cut, obviously it hurts. So this grass gets cut, even though it's never sinned. You are you're not exempt from suffrage just because you are whatever. Many individuals do suffer, and they suffer because of their own mistakes. And when they suffer for their own mistakes, they often start blaming God, and they start rising up against God. Like, why are you doing this? I'm a good person. But these individuals are essentially suffering for their sin. And then there's other individuals who have never even have done sins, but they're suffering in general. But all this is part of the perfect plan of salvation. And all this is necessary for the reconciliation for reconciliation to occur. Obviously, I mean when Christ's return. I'm implying Christ's return when I say the reconciliation. And unfortunately, this is it. And although this is a simple plan of the devil, it's realistically not really intelligent. He does have his own little his own universe where he networks, and he has his own order on how he actually does these types of things in an attempt to and it's all pretty basic stuff. It's not really all that intelligent. Although he does have strategies, and although he does do this and that, all these are obviously beatable. Everything that I just mentioned right now is all beatable through the counsels and strategies of Jesus Christ. And unfortunately, many individuals still will refuse to hearken to that, both from the kingdom of light and from the kingdom of darkness. The kingdom of darkness, even though they even know that this stuff is true, they will still continue to voluntarily wander the wilderness for 40 years. And the people in the kingdom of light, they'll never take the leap of faith to actually be part of the greatest event that's about to occur in the history of humanity, and it's occurring in individuals' lifetime. And many individuals who are in the kingdom of light, or even say they're in the kingdom of light, still will not even want to actually take part in the greatest event that's about to occur, which is Christ's return and the glorification of the saints and the beginning of the reign of Christ, the millennium. And as sad as it sounds, and it's really heartbreaking, many individuals just do not want to take part in this. And it's sad. But do not let the devil steal from you. The devil does come around to snatch your good seeds that you sow. He does come around. What else? This is the greatest event that's about to occur right now. So people, please be on your toes and please make sure that you're making your garments whiter. Please listen to what I'm saying. Listen to my videos. Please ask God to help you and to do it God's way to engage in this all-out war. And I believe that's it. Obviously, you have to be persistent. Once you actually do it God's way to engage in all-out war, you must be persistent in being persistent, or you're actually gonna be a casualty, so to speak. Just like on a battlefield, you're gonna be a casualty and you're going to die. So please keep that way of thinking that this is all-out war. So obviously, you're gonna have to kill individuals with guns and kill individuals with knives and kill them. Obviously, this is war, and as nasty as war is, this is as nasty as it gets, and this is what it is. This is all-out war. All this is happening in the spiritual realm right now, but eventually it's gonna manifest until finally it goes into the physical realm, where it's in where it leads to the great battle at Armageddon. And this is all what it's leading to, and this is how it happens spiritually. First is in the spiritual realm, and the devil, manipulates individuals to manifest it into the physical, and things like that, happen. So all this stuff is happening in the physical realm right now. I mean, the spiritual realm right now, where everybody is going against Israel and Jerusalem, and until finally it manifests in the physical realm, where individuals are actually going with their tanks and they're going to do this and that to Jerusalem. But this is nothing new. This is something that has been prophesied of, and something that's already been seen, and something that's already been spoken of, even by Jewish people and by rabbis and by individuals who are actually living in Israel right now and in Jerusalem. This is not something new. They've spoken about these things, and as time begins to get closer, and prophetic events begin to actually be fulfilled, more and more people are going to be talking more and more about Jerusalem and Israel and what's about to happen and about to occur, to bring a knowledge and an awareness for the salvation of many souls. Um, God did foreordain, and He did choose who would conform to this perfect plan of salvation. From the beginning, He had everybody in His mind and in His thought. Just like how in a video game, before the developers create a video game where they create specific individuals to be bad guys and specific people to be the good guys. This is the exact same concept, and these individuals must walk in their. It's all a script. These individuals must walk into a script. And in their good works. So unfortunately, just like how you can't do anything to change the developers of Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, you can't change their minds to change their story. It's already out and it's already done. It's final when it was final when Christ said, "Let there be light," and that was it. And when Christ said, "Let there be light," everything happened. And now we're all here, and this is the video. Well, obviously this is not appropriate to say, but this is in a way that you actually are able to understand. So obviously everybody must stay firm in the faith and to stick to the script. If you want to be saved, obviously you're sticking to your script. And you actually truly want to be saved, obviously you're sticking to the script. So that's about it. Be persistent and staying persistent. I don't really have much else to say. That's about it. As these events begin to happen, more and more people will start talking, and more individuals will actually start preaching the gospel. The apostasy will happen. Many individuals will eventually abandon the church or their Christian walk with life, but they will not tell anybody. Although they will say that they abandoned although God knows that they abandoned them, they themselves will begin to start working for the kingdom of darkness, and through this Christian front, that these individuals are Christian, but they're all apostates, and these apostates are trying to take more souls with them to the lake of fire. And that's also part of the apostasy that's happening. That these individuals have already left the church and their walk with Christ, and now they're just trying to take souls with them, still with their own Instagram pages and with their own ministries and their own. So they lost their anointing long ago, but now they've switched sides, and they still continue to say they are Christians, even though they're not. This is also another plan of the enemy to try to get individuals. To get individuals thrown in the lake of fire with them, but you must be studying yourselves approved, people. If you have studied yourselves approved, none of this stuff in the end times will ever deceive you. So that's why it's absolutely important and vital that you actually study. You don't go to any of these individuals, but you actually first study and see if these things are so, just like it's written, and see if these things are true, and then develop and then find out who to go to and who not to go to. This is the end times, people. Do not be deceived that we have more than a year left. That's about it. I spoke on being persistent, which was the main point of this whole video, is to ensure that you're persistent in watching and remaining and staying watching, and that you actually clean your robes in the blood of the Lamb. Essentially, this is what I mean by being persistent in this, and to remove any any wrinkles and dirty stains on your clothing. I believe that's about it. I spoke on all out war. This is what it is. This is all out war. I spoke on the great plan of the devil, and I spoke on the perfect plan of salvation of God. I touched briefly on it, and that's about it. I'll speak more about the plan of the devil. This is just the plan of the devil. Basically, what the devil is doing in an attempt to try to get individuals thrown in the lake of fire with them, it's just a test. It's a test of temptation, and through this temptation, he actually he attempts to tempt individuals. It's really simple. It's a simple concept, and individuals can just lead. It's like you could just look at you could just look at the devil and just be like, yeah, it's pretty predictable of you to do. I was like, yeah, and it's a pretty simple concept. So obviously, if you know this concept of the devil, obviously you know it's very beatable, and it's very you can easily outsmart the devil. He's not as intelligent as you may think. Although he knows things that you don't know, things that are just common knowledge to you that you are still afraid to actually take the leap of faith for. He already knows these things, which is why he's even trying to stop you from taking that leap of faith. And he already knows all these things, and he's just attempting to actually take he's attempting to try to stop you from taking the leap of faith. But he himself already knows naturally that if you take that leap of faith, it's over for him. So please take the leap of faith, people. He knows these things. Do not be stupid. Do not be naive to think that, or he's not in the know. He's scared. He already knows this time is up. He already knows he's going to fail. And this is pretty basic, simple stuff. Where this is just pretty basic, simple things for you to understand, to grasp. Obviously, when you look at this test, not test, but this plan, you can obviously see how pretty basic it is, and obviously you have to make sure that you're not being tempted. He tempts individuals through anger, through harsh tests. He'll come into every individual, and he'll whisper in their ears to try to he'll whisper an idea to them, to get an idea. But it is up to you for you to wait and just let it pass over. Let the moment of anger or fury or whatever you feel to pass over you. And obviously you need a more excellent way to ensure this stops, essentially, which is just this is exactly the plan of the devil, people. It's a form of temptation to try to get you to bow down to him and to not bow down to God, and to say this is the whole temptation of the devil. This is the whole plan. It is to get you not to say, "Blessed be the name of the Lord. The Lord gives and He takes away." That's the whole plan of the devil, people. So obviously, if you know that that's the whole plan of the devil, it's really all you gotta know is just obviously be repeated in your mind over and over again about what you should do. That way, when these tests actually come, you actually say these things. Blessed be the name of the Lord, and that you actually pray about this. That way, the Lord actually keeps you, because he'll oftentimes throw things at you to try to get you to not say blessed be the Lord. Which realistically, when you take a step back and actually see the situation for what it is, you see how stupid it is and how simple of a concept it is to just say blessed be the name of the Lord, or just wait and then say blessed be the name of the Lord. But individuals are still way too angry to not say these things. But it's a simple concept. This is a great plan of the enemy. Temptation. I know it didn't sound that great, but individuals who are not aware of this plan of the devil, these individuals will definitely succumb to it. And individuals who are ignorant of this, they will definitely succumb to this plan, and they'll end up dying. And God will end up inflicting a curse on them and kill them, essentially. And that's all it is. You must stand firm in the faith of God. And that's about it. I don't really have much else to say. This is as stupid as it gets. It's about as dumb. And through this plan, and this is the main basis of the plan, that he networks everybody and he tries to set runners up, and then he tries to figure out, when you actually take a step back, you actually see it. You see how stupid all of this really is on his part for him to even attempt to try to stop God. And so, you obviously know that this man is beatable, and it's all heavily relying on everything being hidden. And obviously, if this information is hidden on you and you are not aware of this information, you're going to fail these tests. But if you know that the devil is trying to do it, you're just going to shrug it off and just be like, man, whatever. Like, I don't really care. All I got to do is just wait. That's it. And it'll pass over. And then individuals be like, I'll just pray about this. and I'll pray that it just stops, and to help me, to give me the strength to actually be able to say, "Blessed be the name of the Lord." And then it begins to be a strategic part on your part, and then you're like, "Please, God, help me on how to be strategic, on how to actually be able to do these types of things," and that's about it. Unfortunately, this is His great plan, and He makes loud boasts and great boasts of folly to His followers, and He just said a whole bunch of stuff to His followers. How he's so confident, and how He's finally gonna do it. He's finally gonna beat God, even though the first time He didn't even beat God. And this is what He tells all of His followers the same exact way, and He gets His followers all stirred up and all riled up to finally be a part of a cause they can finally get behind, and that's so pathetic and it's so stupid. But then you actually look at how stupid humans are to actually believe this stupid lie and this stupid to believe this stupid concept that He already knows Himself naturally, even though individuals haven't even taken the first leap to even do these types of things, and it's all just stupid, and it is really sad to see an individual how ignorant they are of the devil's tactics and devices, and to just see the devil just lead them straight into perdition through their own way of thinking and their own logic and reasoning, and which is all demonic, which is given to the whole reasoning and the way of thinking and logic is from the devil, and the devil gave him this reasoning so he could keep these individuals in his way of thinking, which must be binding and loosing good spirits. Don't be deceived. His time is almost up, and it's probably about to be up even quicker because of this video just got out. But yeah, don't be deceived. Bind and loose. Be persistent in being persistent. And I think that's about it. I don't really have much else to say. Everything else I spoke on, it was self-explanatory. The devil is beatable. Bind and loose. Keep being persistent. You're supposed to take this serious and take it because this is all out war. And pray for God to help you out for all the things that I mentioned. Pray for God to help you. Pray for God to deliver you. And I don't believe there's anything else I have to say about this stuff. Please hearken and take it serious. This is all out war. You could die. God is not playing games with anyone, so please do not play games with Him. And I spoke about the devil's great master plan to take as many souls with him to the lake of fire. We could all agree it's pretty stupid and pretty beatable, pretty easy of a concept to beat. And well, now it's entirely up to you that you must be persistent to actually send out and destroy the networking of the devil, and how he actually does this thing. Which, when you take a step back and actually see how simple of a concept it is, you see how easy it is to actually beat this networking and the runners, and you know his ultimate goal and his ultimate source of strategy, that he attempts to take as many souls with him to the lake of fire. And it's ridiculous, but as stupid as it sounds, he's really doing it, and he's really trying to do this. So please help individuals, stop them from being ignorant, and finally deliver them, intercede for individuals, bless the individuals who are actually taking part in this ultimate goal and this ultimate plan of the devil. Bless them according to their wickedness, just like how there's an opposite reaction to an equal or opposite reaction to every reaction. Do the opposite of the evil and bless them with the good. Exactly. And that way, if they end up failing, or they end up not even taking the blessing, or even taking the blessing and running with it, and doing the absolute most they can with the blessing, they absolutely have no excuse for the reason why they shouldn't make it make it out of the lake of fire. So essentially, you leave these individuals without excuse, and although you did everything you could for these individuals, it was still up to the individual not to it was the individual's responsibility not to want to burn. And that's about as sad as it gets, and unfortunately it's about as sorry as it gets for some individuals as well. Some of these individuals will never change, and you must be blessing these individuals according to how evil they are. or even more if you want, if you would like. It doesn't really matter. And I believe that's about it. I don't really have much else to say. Love your enemies, how it's written. Love your neighbors as yourself. Bless those that curse you. Pray for those that persecute you. Pray for those who despitefully use you. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And bind the flesh, loose the spirits, loose the legions. And pray always, people. Pray, 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 and pray. I don't really have much else to say. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Just be praying for the counsels of Christ and to actually help you out and to expose all the wicked works of darkness with light. Fight the powers of darkness with light. Obviously, if you must, and for it to teach you, go into a room that isn't well lit or just a completely dark room and just put the light. And that's essentially how it should help you out to understand, how you should be fighting darkness with the powers of light. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Don't be afraid. Take the leap of faith. And I believe that's about it. Thank you, and have a good day. Grace and peace be multiplied unto you. Please obviously let that hearken into your heart, that you need the graces and the peace to be multiplied to you. Remain lowly, remain humble, so that God actually gives you the graces that form your eternal character, because it's all grace. And I believe that's it. Bless others with your graces, and bless others with bless others with the blessings that you yourself have received. Freely you have received, so freely you should give to individuals and whoever. Do not be a respecter of persons ever about this type of stuff. It's not at all about you. And do not be stingy about your blessings. Do not be stingy about your blessings, and yeah, give.